Let's go!
Hey everybody, Coach Scott here today. And today I want to talk to you about breaking bad habits. That's right, breaking bad habits. See, most of us all have a bad habit or two that we'd like to break, or we'd like to replace it with a better habit. But the question is, how do we do this? How do we replace a bad habit with a good habit? And I heard it described one time in an oak tree story, and that is the oak tree has a feature in the tree that keeps its leaves during the winter months. And though the leaves die in the fall, they remain attached to the branches until the new leaves appear in the spring and push the old leaves off the branch. You could, you could say, well, you can just remove the leaves by hand if you wanted to, but that's really a time-consuming and a pointless exercise, and because the leaves are going to come off on their own anyway when the new growth appears in the spring. And in the same way, bad habits can be similar. You can focus your attention on trying to eliminate or get rid of bad habits in your life, or you can focus in on what's, I think, more important, which is a positive developing of new habits. And so as you develop new habits, and when you do that, you will naturally and more easily remove the bad habits. So the question is, how do you continually create new and better habits to replace the old ones? And I think the one word that we use is consistency. Consistency is tough for just about everybody on the planet because it involves knowing what habits you want to create and knowing how to create it. And then not only knowing how to create it and knowing what you want, but then actually pursuing it and doing it, which are 3 steps that can feel impossible at times. And I understand these. So here are the 3 tips and strategies to get some consistency in your routines, because when you develop new habits and routines, it will organically replace the old ones and choke out the old ones naturally. So number 1, it's not a prison. When I first started getting healthy back in 2011, I didn't really get consistent, mostly because consistency felt like such a burden on me. And instead of seeing my daily habits and daily practices as something that would help me, they felt like this was just another thing I had to add to my schedule, another thing that I had to keep up with, another thing that I had to figure out how to fit into my day. And I kept telling myself that I didn't have time for it. And I said to myself that I needed to prioritize my schedule. But the key is I was wrong. What I needed to do, and finally figured out that if I was ever going to be successful, then I would have to schedule my priorities. When you schedule your priorities, you schedule the things that really matter in your life. Everything else will choke itself out. And choosing not to do daily work to change negative habits into positive habits, what I was actually doing was actively conspiring in my own suffering and in my own life not getting better. So consistency is not a prison, it's a pathway to your health. And number 2, you must control and monitor the inner conversation. My daily routine today includes things like getting up every morning and reading something positive or listening to something positive, being thankful and having daily joy, and making sure I'm checking in with myself and making sure I'm keeping myself accountable and acknowledging who I am, acknowledging my pain, acknowledging my successes, and beginning to enlarge my view of me. I kept up with this by, first of all, started writing in my journal, and I did this for the better part of a year. And then after the year was up, I no longer needed to visit that kind of checklist with myself to keep myself accountable. So then I just started writing, and I just started writing my thoughts and assessing my day each day. And it was part of my life and how I turned around my life in such a very quick period of time. So again, when you turn to gratitude and you ask yourself how might you step into more integrity and be more deliberate to find laughter and joy in your day, and guess what's going to happen? You're going to find joy. You're going to find laughter, and you're going to be better than the negative thoughts that once controlled how you feel. And this is a choice, by the way, and it's a powerful choice that's available to all of us. And then finally, number 3, the rinse and repeat method. Sometimes people think of personal growth as an endpoint. You do the work, and then you never again have to fear. You never again have the triggers. You never have the hurt. You never have the doubts. You never have the setbacks. You never have the disappointments. This is not true. And again, for most people, and what my experience has been, is that we need to water our personal selves just like we water plants. You have to do this daily. You have to nourish yourself daily. And you might think you'll get that moment all of a sudden where you go, all right, I'm changed forever now. But in my experience, it's like AA. It works when you work it. So make and use checklists. Get on the LT360 closed group. Check in daily with your coach if you need to. Send them a text or check in on the Facebook. Have an accountability partner. Whatever you need to do, you need to make it consistent. You can and will be successful, but you've got to get some consistency in your life, because small disciplines over a long period of time in the same direction will always lead you to your highest and best version of yourself. And if you'll do that, I believe and declare you will be all that you were created to be. God bless you guys. Take care. We'll see you soon.